Dudes with Brews on a Porch presents to you another edition of Strange Brews, Conspiracies, Murder, Ghost Stories, Aliens. They're all coming to get you, my dears.
We are back. The boys have banded back together. One of us is a little more sober than he was last time. And we're talking about
Me?
Rob. Yeah, you.
Yeah. Okay. I don't remember last time. Wait. Oh, that should have been a telling. Yeah, that should
Yeah,
have told me.
You
who it
don't
was.
remember last time because, last time didn't happen with you and I. It happened with me and my wife.
Oh God. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, let's get past that. Let's cue it. Do we cue it in this or we go straight in?
I think we go straight in.
All right, then let's keep talking about it. Yeah, I was too drunk last week. I hung out with Rob again this week.
He's a bad
and
influence
I'm
on you.
feeling pretty rough today. Not gonna lie. But
Well, that's all right. We're in full-fledged strange brew mode. We got more spooky things to talk about, more unusual things to talk about. But first, let's discuss the beers that we are going to be diving into. Mine, Robert, in true Halloween form, I am drinking Brewery Ommegang All Hallows Treat. It is
I like the can.
yeah, it's pretty sweet. It is a Imperial Chocolate Peanut Butter Stout, which, if that doesn't get you hyped for the holiday season that is Halloween, I don't know what will. Sweet and spooky like the perfect Halloween night. All Hallows Treat rekindles your favorite childhood holiday memories. Aromas and flavors of dark chocolate, creamy peanut butter, and a soft vanilla finish swirl with a smooth body and medium mouthfeel. It is the perfect throwback that brings you to your first bite of a chocolate peanut butter cup, baby. From Cooperstown, New York. It is
I'll tell you. Yeah.
7.6
We've got
ABV.
more stuff.
7.6 ABV, 18 on the IBUs. I love me peanut butter stouts. I do. But it takes it takes a real good one for me to really like it. So far my favorite one is from Lupulin, and I have not found one that has topped that one, but this one could do it. The artwork for sure did it.
Well, take a sip and let us know if that's something you want in your bag when you go trick-or-treating. Oh, he's taking 2 sips, folks.
Get that stout taste on the up front. You get like a hint of peanut butter on the back end. It's got a little bitterness to it. It's smooth. It's good. You know what a stout tastes like, right? I don't really know how to describe a stout.
I've honestly not been drinking too many stouts. It's more of a feel. The stout, maybe for me, I can't remember. I need to get back into drinking some stouts because I really did used to like those, but now they just hit me wrong. There's something like they're maybe too filling, or I don't know what it is. I don't even drink that much beer when I drink, but
Well, it's it does have that medium mouthfeel. It has a hint of the peanut butter. I don't know if it's as good as the Lupulin one, but it's still tasty nonetheless.
yeah, I think we are both just lost our fantasy leagues.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not to interrupt on this great, but the Packers just threw an interception. That's what's happening.
You're ahead of me. So
Oh yeah, my bad.
so I'm about to watch
It's
that
gonna
happen
happen.
right now. Hey, it just happened. Great.
I can predict the future from the past, which is weird because you're ahead of me in time.
Right. That's interesting.
I am predicting your future from your past.
Interesting. Well, you're drinking Touchstone Brewing Company's Rest Day, a Helles lager, refreshing and light lager was brewed for your day off, which it is your day off. A slight tropical note from New Zealand hops, gentle bittering, and a delicious medium-bodied German lager backbone make this the perfect beer for any time. 5% ABV, 0 on the IBU. Looks very light. It's got a good copper hue to it. It looks pretty nice.
Yeah, the color of this is really it's really good. It's got that great golden hue. It does have a little copper tone to it. I mean, it smells like a sweeter lager to me. It's on the sweeter side.
Yeah, absolutely. Pretty good.
And it's yeah, it's good. It doesn't have much flavor up front.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I mean, you know what? I take that back. Wow, now the flavor's coming. So like
In the
that's how
back
long
end.
it took for yeah, like so it almost is a little too watery, I would say for me, or water like it's too there's not enough upfront taste to it.
Yeah.
Um,
Interesting.
but it does linger after you and it has that Hellas lager linger,
All right.
which is, if you like that kind of I don't want to call it bitterness. I don't it sticks on the top of your on the roof of your mouth.
Yeah.
But it's almost like it's like the good kind of skunky kind of maybe. Does that
Sure.
make sense?
Yeah. I think
Let's
so.
let's say it does. Yeah, I think no one's here to argue with me on it, so I'm gonna say that's what it is.
Well, it is a strange brew episode, and we got something strange coming along the way. Another strange thing aspect of this episode is you don't sound as digitized as you normally would.
I got all the gear today.
It's finally working.
Yeah.
That
Do I
is,
look good? Do I look good on camera with the whole setup? I got the
yeah,
mic
dude.
stand.
You look
I
very
got,
professional. Like this could be like your Twitch look, and it looks
yeah,
great.
this is, yeah,
You're
yeah.
you're on it.
Well,
You're on it. I appreciate it. Um,
it's because I haven't shaved and it hides my face.
so on the last one of the last Strange Brew episodes, the one that I did like the little mini Strange Brew episode, we talked about the congressional meetings in America in regards to UAFs, as they call them, or UFO, um, in which pilots and people said, "Indeed, we did. We know about UAFs. They are real. I can't give a lot of information about it because I do fear for my life," essentially is what it was. Or the question was posed, would you fear for your friend's life or your life if you were to discuss this phenomenon or these things that are going on in the sky? In which he said, I don't feel comfortable answering that question. That in itself is is an answer to me. We have that going on, right? So not necessarily proof of extraterrestrial beings, but proof that things are in the sky that we are unaware of. We don't know why they're there. An unidentified flying object could be somebody just flying a drone. You know what I mean? In an unmarked
Well,
territory or something like that.
yeah,
But
the idea of a UFO being something in the sky that's unidentified is that's a broad term.
it is.
And honestly, like with the answer, the non-answer that is the answer that that guy gave, which is I don't feel comfortable answering that question. We'll get into that with this story that we're going to talk about. To me, when these people go like, "Oh, non-human, alien versus non-human," well, like they're not willing to buckle down. I don't want to say too much because we'll get to it, but that's one of those things where it's like your non-answer answers the question pretty
Exactly.
well.
Right. Yeah.
But at the same time giving plausible deniability for if this is some kind of a hoax or something like that, because that's the thing. Like, this is going to teeter and totter forever, where it's like until Mars Attacks, the movie, happens in real life. Like people
Right.
are going to go back and forth on this thing and go like, oh, the majority of people now believe that flying saucers are a real thing. They're crafted and piloted by aliens, and they are here and this, and then the minority will stick on that side of well, no, they just tell us that so that we're not looking at the economy and then eventually people will look at the economy and go, yeah, you know what, the economy is pretty bad. And then the minority will go, yeah, but they just want us to be not focused on the Mars attacks that's coming. Uh,
Yeah.
that's what I think. I think that we're always going to totter on that balance beam or whatever.
Yeah. So then that happened earlier this year. Really not that long ago. Fast forward a little bit later.
This is in the U.S. that what you talked about last week.
Correct. Last time, yeah. But,
Which we've had, just to touch more on the U.S. congressional stuff. Like we've had all the way back to the 90s, I think, maybe even the 80s, UFO councils and Congress, people in Congress getting together to with task force and doing Q&As with the public, and actually coming out and saying, that UFOs are real, Now, this gets into a gray area of like still not providing proof, still not providing evidence, and we're finding out in today's world more than ever that Congress people are just regular people that get elected, and they have their beliefs that make no sense, just like we have our beliefs that maybe make no sense to other people, and it doesn't like you're not infallible because you're in Congress. But I do think it's interesting that for the last few decades we have been having these talks with our elected officials who should have some evidence or information, but through not wanting to actually solidify this argument, they don't release like actual data.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, isn't it kind of crazy? Like elected officials have instantly, like the first thing that I would do if I was like in Congress or if I got access to like the White House at some sort of form, I'd be like, show me the alien stuff. But fast forward to a handful of weeks ago, maybe a month ago now, Mexico is having a similar conversation that we had here in the U.S., in which Mexican legislators, oh my God, I actually said that word right. I really struggle with that word. Especially like when I read the news. You heard me do a newscast the other day.
I did.
If the word legislation is in there, oh boy, is that a struggle. Anyways,
what was it? What was it? You couldn't even say.
What did I say? Yeah, what did I say?
Yeah, rifle or rifer? You said
Rifer.
rifer, but I don't know what was it for a rifle?
Yes, it was for rifle.
Yeah, somebody with a rifer.
I said a rifer. Thank God for editing. But anyways, so they hear testimonies regarding the possibility of extraterrestrial beings that exist, and their alleged remains of non-human beings were presented. They were shown two artifacts that a Mexican journalist and longtime UFO enthusiast claimed to be the remains of these extraterrestrials. They were little bodies displayed in cases, 3 fingers on each hand, elongated heads, kind of like E.T. Steven Spielberg might have been onto something. Point the fingers.
Yeah.
Was that like a metaphor for touching tips in E.T.?
I mean, if you want to read into it that way, I'm not gonna say either one way or another. But if that's what you saw, I mean, the Reese's Pieces were. You know what? We're not gonna get into what Reese's Pieces were representing, but
this individual,
it's a whole nother strange brew.
Yeah, this individual claims that these alleged beings were found in Peru near ancient Nazca lines in 2017. They're about 1,000 years old, according to their carbon dating analysis from Mexico's National Autonomous University. A scientist then did look at kind of their DNA. Allegedly, one of them potentially had what would be considered eggs in like a uterus or in its body, eggs. So in terms of earthlings, that would likely be of the female genetics. And then they did find...
Or reptilian, right? Reptilians have eggs. They lay eggs, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They were found deep in the underground of this Peruvian coastal desert. They're really small, but they also have non-human like DNA. So I explained this to a biology teacher that I work with. I met her for the first time not that long ago, and I was just kind of talking.
This was your lead-in? You shaking the hands, and you go, what do you think about these Peruvian alien mummies?
Somebody came up, started talking about aliens, and then I just chimed in with about these, and then she goes, like she did like the well actually, and said like that.
I feel like you're biased. I feel like you're biased against this person based on that impression alone.
Well, they said they're like, if there were to be some sort of alien matter or genetics, non-human DNA in the universe, that it would likely be microscopic and it would likely be like, like that of a bacteria or an amoeba or something like that. But my thought is like, dude, we don't know how long the entire universe has existed.
The idea of using a term like likely or probably, based on our limited time span of knowledge, I mean, the average human, 78 years, the lifespan of humanity as a whole, even if you want to take the long course and say we've been evolving here, or we've had societies for over 15,000 years, that is nothing. We have not, we can't even
Right.
comprehend enough to go, it's probably just. And now
Right.
I'm doing that. Now I see why you did
See?
the impression, because I think you nailed it. But yeah, it's the idea of probably only going to be this out there. To me, that's somebody that might be a little bit uh, either small-minded or afraid to admit to the idea of something better than us or something bigger than us, something that has more intelligence than us. Which at this point I don't think is that hard. To
Right.
like it.
But like,
Lions might be getting there, man. But
well, the thing of it is, how do we not know that we aren't microscopic? How do we know, like, Earth could be a mere speck in the grand scheme of planets across all the universes. You know what I mean?
I think we do know that we're microscopic when you pull out far enough. We
Right.
don't know what petri dish we're in, and what microscope we're under when you pull out that far. But yeah, the absolute truth is that we're nothing here,
Right.
and there's something on the other side of
Wherever.
this vast whatever that. Now that's the big argument. I'm probably jumping in my brain and not making the right words to bring people with me, but the thing that to me is like your big the big smoking gun, if you will, that these things are maybe not real or whatever, is the idea of traveling that far that fast to be
Mm-hmm.
able to get from a place that we can't, outside of our realm of being able to study, and we know there's no life on these planets around us, or at least that's what they're telling us. So let's go with that as an assumption that NASA is not lying to us about the uninhabited planets that are around us in our solar system, and what we can see.
Mm-hmm.
But we're still like, it's like I try not to close down and go, there's no way that anything could traverse light years faster than, travel faster than light, and this, like all those things, like those arguments, because it's like that we don't know. We've literally just got cars a second ago in the span of humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And like like they started off going 20 miles an hour. Now we've got cars that go 400 or something like that. So and we've got rocket ships that I don't know how fast they go because I'm not smart enough, and I don't pretend to be, but we've progressed at such a quick rate, and for us to just bat down the idea that some other uh something else out there isn't a step ahead of us, that like we're still thinking of propulsion in terms of pushing from behind, like an explosion out the back pushes you forward, and that's how you get pushed forward. It's like these mini explosions that turn gears, that's how you get propelled. But there might be an entirely different way of moving throughout the galaxy that we just haven't unlocked that knowledge yet. So I try not to like pin that down.
Mm-hmm.
But that is an argument that I hear a lot, where it's like, oh, nothing could traverse those distances in a timely enough manner, because the space is so big that you would need, even if we could go the speed of light, for us to get to um, for us to get to a different solar system, we would still need to be traveling at the speed of light for so many years. By the time we get there, we're going to have adverse effects from being at light speed for that long, in space and no gravity for that long. All these different things. And it's like, once again, thinking about things only in terms of how life evolves on our planet, not
Right.
thinking about how things evolve over a longer period of time in different environments.
So going back to these specimens, these bodies of the extraterrestrials, Further, the person that presented them said that they did carbon-14 dating, in that so they are actually 700 to 1800 years old. Again, elongated heads, 3 fingers on each hand. This article specifically calls out ET. But if you look at the pictures, so the images were provided or whatever. If you look at it, it kind of looks like, I don't know if you've ever watched the Netflix hit show, Is It Cake? But potentially these could be cake. Like it'd be a pretty tasty cake, I think. They look kind of delicious. But
didn't we talk about? Is that a real show? Is this cake?
Is it? Yeah.
Oh, because I thought, didn't we joke around about like spouse or cake or something like that, where you have to cut into something that is either your spouse or it's cake, and you don't know until you've cut into. I feel like I was talking to somebody about that idea.
Maybe
The ultimate game show where it's like you don't know. It's either your spouse who's been knocked out or cake, but you don't find out until you take a big old slice.
Yeah.
But, you're right. Yeah, they look stone. They look
right. But
like
if you uncover it from, so it kind of like fits the part. If you're uncovering it from this coastal desert, you're gonna find a lot of like sand. You're gonna find stone. You're gonna find that dustiness look to it. And if it's been mummified essentially for this long, this is bound to what they're gonna look like. Odds are, like mummies. When you go to a museum and you see a mummified body, the mummies are relatively small. When you die, you shrink.
They're drained of all their liquids. They're shrink down. Yeah.
So there's a chance that
this could be a 3-foot alien hydrated.
Yeah, for sure. And then so
I do want to ask you a question real quick. Do you believe in this? Do you believe that this is real? Can we do, or do you not want to get into that yet?
No, we can get into it. I would like to think it's real.
You want to believe it's real.
I'm like Fox Mulder. Yes.
That's I find myself falling back on that laurel. I don't like that's the thing. Once we get into the guy who's actually bringing the evidence to the table, that's where things get a little bit dicey for me.
Okay, talk about
it. I didn't want to cut off because we're talking about the actual specimens right now.
Well, they just look.
I didn't see anything about these eggs. So can you go into that a little bit?
I just heard about it, like the one had, possibly had eggs inside of it, meaning that it can reproduce. So that's really the only information I have. There's really not a ton of information on it.
Yeah.
The individual,
this is where when we get into these stories, these things about aliens, these things about crypto creatures and ghosts and things like that, things that can't easily be proven, and then all of a sudden evidence comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it always that it's like, so this person, what was it, like Rasmussen or
Rasmussen? Yeah. It was like
Rasmussen.
I don't know how you pronounce it, but yeah, something like that.
This he's already been busted on bringing fraudulent alien specimens to to these people.
Mm-hmm.
That were dolls with like glue and it's like, has he gotten better at it? Did he learn from his mistakes? But it's not, to me, it's not necessarily like, do you vilify the person that the messenger? Because I don't want to count out the idea that this guy's looking so hard, and at one point he got so frustrated that he faked something, but then he actually found something, and now we're just gonna go, no, you're not allowed to find aliens anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of, you're not allowed to find aliens anymore, because I can't get past that. Dude, you brought dolls to space people, whatever they're called.
Yeah.
These committees. That you put, like paper and glue and whatever to signify skin. How you thought that was going to ever work, I don't know. Whether or not these are better things doesn't matter to me at this point. Now you've all of a sudden gone, maybe this is 100% factual. These are alien specimens, and they should prove the existence of life from outside of this planet coming here, but because you're the guy that brought them, no one's gonna like. There's no
Right.
way you get 100% of people believing that, and that to me is where things get a little fishy. Where I go, why would like if I was this guy, I'd go like that's like if you have 5 DUIs and you're drinking and you give your keys to your buddy and go like, I don't know if I should do it this time.
Right.
I don't want to like bad metaphor or whatever, but like you know what I mean? Like it's like you don't want to be the guy that it's like, hey, you know, you, if you're the
Yeah.
guy that's already been caught lying about this,
Cry
so
wolf,
just
essentially.
yeah, so it's yeah, exactly. So it's like hand that discovery off to somebody else. If you did find something real, hand it off to somebody else so that if you really want this information to be taken seriously, I have a hard time taking it seriously, and I kind of
Mm-hmm.
think that that's what it's almost written like a script that way. Oh, a fraudulent alien prankster finds real aliens. What's the world going to do with it? They're going to fight about it. That's what we do with things. Like, can we just get one honest guy that gives us some evidence about something, or one dishonest guy that can't come up with good enough evidence to try and fool people?
Well,
I'm sure
my
those guys are out there, but you know.
yeah, my guess is like, so my couple of thoughts with this. One, the world is so like we're divided by borders, we're divided by nations. We really are, to a lot of regards. There's always been the first country to do this race. You know what I mean? First country to get on the moon. We're racing there. First country to
Speaking of which, just real quick, I've decided that I believe in the moon landing footage. We can just let that go by. I'm just gonna say I switch sides. I'm jumping on this bandwagon. I guess you know what? I don't get. I know the moon landing footage is real. All right, continue.
So it's just like with these U.S. congressional hearings a couple of months ago coming forward, and now out of nowhere, like Mexico is like, maybe we should hop on this. Maybe we should one up the U.S. They're talking about UFOs and UAFs. Let's bring some fucking aliens to the forefront. Let's bring the source right up front. We're going to give it to this estranged UFO enthusiast, because then if like the world pushes back, we can be like, well, yeah, this guy's nuts. Because realistically, they didn't have to write all these articles on it. They didn't have to display all this. CBS reported on this. You know what I mean? They could have just dismissed it as this crazy guy is at it again, doing this phony baloney stuff. But no, they presented it as doubtful, but this is what he's done. So I don't know if there's like this is another step forward to it. You know what I mean? I could be very off on that.
It's the carbon dating that probably lends itself to making this a credible, like something that they would call a semi-credible news story. But one aspect of it is the fraudulent nature of this guy's background.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, 1,000 years old. That's pretty hard. There's no doll that's 1,000 years old that you can put fake skin on like he did the first time.
Right.
But here's where you get into my misunderstanding, possibly, of Mexico and Mexican government, because honestly, I was like, they've got a Congress down there? I never really hear about Mexican Congress or legislatures or anything like that. I don't know anything about their government down there except for what I hear from people that kind of come from there, and they say it's corrupt and there's a lot of they're playing a weird game of politics the same way we are, just in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And are there government agencies on aeronautics and what is it? Astronomy? Astronomy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get them. Yeah, not astrology. We're not talking about constellations here. So on astronomy, like are these organizations immune to being bought to say, hey, this is what we found? Are they releasing these aliens to other governments to do testing on? Probably not, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's I mean, a lot of people say that these unboxed aliens are fake, and all that stuff. It's disbelief, but yeah, I don't know. And my other question is, why is this important? If aliens really are walking among us, or at least know of our existence, acknowledge that, or they are aware of other life forms in the galaxies, in the universe, why is it important to us? Do we necessarily need to know? Is it worth our time diving into? What are we going to do with this? Like, because in my opinion, it's either we acknowledge that there's these UFOs, these UAFs, and that what we're going to do is we are going to somehow turn it into some sort of warfare or declare war on them.
Oh, absolutely. So this is the big reason to me, in my opinion, why this matters, in some way, shape, or form. Uh, if somehow you get 100% of the world, or let's say 90% of the world, whatever, on board, and they and go, aliens are real. They have been visiting us. They are visiting us. They have better technology than us. All of a sudden, you've united the world on one front. All those borders that you alluded to before go away, and we have a single goal to either, to work together and make sure that we're not, because what is if it's not our basis human instinct is there's something different out there. We must be ready to kill it before it kills us.
Right.
Because we can't run away. We're on a planet, but we can fight, so it's like fight or flight. Flight's not an option, so we're going to get ready to fight. And so it's like the one good thing that could come out of that knowledge, even if it's a peaceful alien race, even if they're here to observe and not interfere, even if they're here to help, as soon as you go, these other things are out there, you might change some people's mind on like religious radicalism. You might change some countries' minds on it's me versus you as opposed to us versus this other entity that we don't
Sure.
that we're just learning about. It could help our planet come together. Will it? I doubt it because is there money? There's not money in that, and that's what everything comes down to. It's not actually war anymore. It comes down to what you make off of war.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. I mean, look at ET. Everyone wanted to test on that being an alien.
Yeah, and do you know what Reese's Pieces made? I mean,
originally it was supposed to be M&M's, but M&M said,
yeah,
"There's no way we're doing this foolish fucking movie." And then little did they know that it,
yeah. You want an uncircumcised alien to eat?
No genitalia was really performed. We don't know if ET was.
I'm talking about his head, I guess. Well, okay. I'm not talking about. All right, let me back up.
Okay.
There's a lot of words happening. uh, no, yeah, I heard M&M's turned it down. It wouldn't have worked as well. You got to have the peanut butter and the crunch.
I know.
It was believable to me that an alien would bond with a young child over a candy coated peanut butter candy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. At some point, they're gonna have to come forward and say, "Yes, we know aliens have been here," and maybe the governments of the world even know that where other inhabitable planets are.
I think they already do. I think they know. I think that they're never going to come forward and tell us. At least not until after the fact of like,
Earth is
right,
depleted of every resource. We now need to ship everybody somewhere else, or at least the elites.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is we won't find out about it until the elites are gone, and all of a sudden they realize, oh shoot, we still need these lower people to make our lives easier and make the things that we want to make or whatever. And then they'll maybe send a couple ships. But we still have to figure out how to get to these places, which I don't think I don't think we figured out.
Do you think?
I don't think we've figured out how to traverse space in in a way that would allow us to go to other planets, whether they're habitable or not.
If the ship lands down in front of your house and says, you are one of the selected individuals that we are allowing.
I leave you all behind. Oh wait, finish.
Would you go?
Yeah, absolutely, I'd go.
It's almost like a Fallout situation where it's like come to or even so here we go. Okay? They come forward and they say there are other planets in which we've contacted those individuals that inhabit it. They're willing, they have all this space. We can get X amount of people there. Buy more or less the insurance right now that you will get transported to that planet when Earth's resources are depleted. So no more electricity, no more water, breathable air is next to none.
It's interesting to me that you put electricity above water and air, but continue. You got to have that Xbox.
If I can't charge my phone, why?
What's the point of living?
But
the electricity's out. Can I get out of here now? There's still plenty of water, air, and food. Yeah, but really, the iPhone's not. It's just not.
The signal's not great. But I'm just saying, like, that's one way they could market it, almost. And it could almost be like they know that. Say we have 1,000 years left of Earth's resources. You and I will never see that ship come to ship us.
Like
but we could just keep paying it.
Yeah, it'd be like Packers season tickets. You put your name on there, you pay the insurance, and you hope that your great grandkids get to use it someday.
Ashton will get on it one day. Ashton's not too far away, actually.
Yeah, I just heard myself breathe so deeply into the mic, and I apologize. This is one of the now that I have a mic.
It didn't pick it up. You're fine.
Okay, well, all right.
You're allowed to breathe. It's one of our resources that we have to use until we get shipped off to a different planet.
I'm trying to keep you here as long as I can by not breathing. I'm going to breathe a little bit less every day.
But I'm just saying, that's one way.
I like that. The idea of planetary insurance is kind of interesting. Yes,
people would buy it.
Bezos would laugh his way to Constantinarium AE 1123 with all of our money, and then we'd all like get in the transporter and it would like break down and it'd go need more energy, and we're like, but the energy's gone. That's why my iPhone doesn't work.
Yeah, it's just interesting to think about. And then, maybe one day we'll finally get the real information, the truth. Probably not. There's been people that have worked in NASA and the government on their deathbed and said, yes, these things are real. These things go down. But they're always going to get chalked up to being the crazy ones. I think the most reliable source was that individual who gave that testimony in the U.S. and said things along the lines of, I can't give that answer. I'm not comfortable responding.
Well, I mean, Louis, Buzz, Bill Armstrong. What was the guy's name? Lance Armstrong.
There's Buzz Aldrin, and then there's Lance Armstrong.
Lance Armstrong. Yeah. It's not Trevor Lance.
Isn't Lance Armstrong the guy that won the Tour de France?
No, that's Michael Winford.
Oh.
No, it's God, buddy. There's so many. Louis Armstrong was a trumpet player, right?
Yeah, he sang. He was a singer.
We're really getting into territory where I don't know. I'm not gonna make my point anymore because I've already lost all credibility.
Neil Armstrong,
there it is.
Lance Armstrong was the bicycle race guy.
Yeah, and Buzz Lightyear was the guy that could fly. All right, we're back on track. So the guy that stayed in the capsule, he wrote a book about the fact that there are aliens on the moon, and there are that he saw things up there, and he was kind of discredited. Now, have I read that book? No. So I
Right.
don't take that. Don't take what I say as fact. Go and find the book like I have not done, and do the research like I have not done.
Well, if you talk to Dan
But
Aykroyd, he's got crazy knowledge on all that shit.
yeah, yeah, it's I've done my due diligence, and when it comes to watching Ancient Aliens, but it's been a while. Like I've kind of let a lot of this stuff go because it doesn't actually matter. Like if we found out that Ancient Aliens was real and we actually have like we were placed here or we were a slave race to aliens back in the day, what does that change for us now? It doesn't really change that much. I mean, go watch Stargate. That's what
Hmm.
they're kind of positing in that show is the gods, they planted us and used us and then they left and now here we are and we struggle with our lives and we struggle with our reality and we struggle because that's what life is. The gods are struggling too. We're trying to find our way on a spectrum, me and you. When we say we want to believe, I want to believe that aliens are real. I do. I've wanted to believe that God is real. I've wanted to believe that angels are real. That's the other side of the spectrum. We're sitting somewhere, not quite dead center, somewhere, let's say, to the left, which is, riding on that. We're sitting on that fence of I don't disbelieve in aliens, and but I don't necessarily believe in them either. There's people further left that go, aliens are real. They our DNA is their DNA. They've implanted things in us. They're visiting us. They're here. They've been coming here. All these things. And then you go to the other side of the spectrum, and that's your religious stuff, where it's like angels. They're talking about that in churches and stuff about how they don't ask the question, are angels real? They say angels are absolutely real.
Hmm.
God is absolutely real. He's up there. Where they say the aliens are, that's where the angels and God are. And it's to get somewhere in the meaty curve of just being able to go, I don't care anymore.
Right.
Because it's not, no, angels don't help my life. Aliens don't help my life. I don't think either of them are hurting my life. That's where I'm trying to get to. But I do like to live in a world where it's like you hear a conspiracy theory and you go like, you know what, I like that one. I want to
Right.
believe that. I'm gonna believe that. Not because I don't give two shits if it's true or not. I'm not gonna spread it as if it's truth, but I will say, hey, this is a conspiracy theory uh,
Hmm.
uh, that I subscribe to. And it's like
Yeah.
uh, I don't see a problem with that. I feel like it's a better way to live life to be open to the idea of certain things,
Well,
not necessarily have a hard belief.
can I shift um, the strange brew into a different topic of late, in
Let's
which
do it.
so we're gonna shift from aliens to Bigfoot because there is quote unquote footage of a female Bigfoot with her baby in Britain.
See,
So
now that's interesting to me. That I was waiting for you to say in this state, and I was already thinking, why don't we get this footage from other countries? That's where I want to get the footage from.
there's something that's been surfacing on the internet, Daily Mail, which is a British site, in which a picture was taken of the British Bigfoot. Do you think the British Bigfoot goes, "Oh, you fucking wanker! Oh, who put this here?" Or "Ah," I don't know, like a British little twang with the roar. I hope so. Anyways,
I think it's more of a like an old like with a monocle and a fish and chip. Uh, that's I'm terrible at accents, so
Rifle Day, ain't it?
that'd be
But there's a mother Bigfoot, um, walking around with potentially a baby. The picture, you can see it. You can see kind of a silhouette of it. It's in a dense wooded area, as it tends to be. As as like a stereotypical, maybe the stereotypical thing of Bigfoot in the woods. Maybe it's a stereotype because that's really where they reside.
Is this can I ask, is this video the famous case of the swinging baby Bigfoot?
No, I'll send this.
Mother Bigfoot with baby, probably this one, I imagine.
Yeah, it's from the
I'm trying
daily.
to find.
It's from the Daily Mail. But again, it poses the question. We hear about these sightings every once in a while. Of course, there's been a lot of them in America. Now we're getting into a different country. Why is this important? And should we care? I think in the world of Bigfoot, I think we should care more about like the truth with Bigfoot than we should with aliens, because if we have another humanoid-ish type being that is so aware that it's like the hide and seek champ of the world, because they're aware of all these people are looking for me, all these people are maybe hunting me, tracking me down. They're aware of their surroundings. They know where to hide. They know when to come out. They know where to get food, where to get everything like that. To me, that's more important, because that just says like there is another form of life, like intelligent life on this planet that isn't necessarily human, but is probably closely related to a human.
Yeah, I do. I agree with you that might be more important to take, and it's something that it's like we actually have the devices and the things to make that happen with thermal imaging, satellites, things like that, drones, and like we could cover a lot of ground just looking for uh, thermal stuff and kind of work our way backwards and find, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if we could. The logistics of that are, I don't know, AI is crazy. It might be able to pinpoint something, but we're getting there. We're definitely closer to that than being able to get to a different solar system.
Yeah.
Well, but I will say this, it's interesting right now. We just hit a milestone mid-show. You sent me a link. I'm watching it because I don't have to interrupt on my phone to do so.
Wow.
Yeah, look at this. This is amazing. Is this what professionals do? This is
Maybe.
how it feels?
I think so. Theoretically, we are professional podcasters. We have been paid to podcast. Not a lot of money, but some we have been.
I'll tell you, Rob got on me a little bit for not taking advantage of certain interviews and things like that he gave me numbers for like Jimmy Doom and it
I'll
wasn't
reach out
that
to
I
Jimmy
didn't want to
Doom.
do that. It's just also I had had the bad equipment and I'm working on that. And I know I've been saying that. I ordered my phone today.
Hopefully, it gets
Um,
to the right address.
I went to go buy one in store and it was legitimately like they didn't have the prices were bad. The phones were I didn't like any of the phones that they had. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go and I've already changed my address. I double checked, triple checked. I haven't gotten my confirmation email, but I should get it tomorrow. And if I don't, I'm going to call Boost and go, hey, you guys didn't send me a confirmation email again that you're shipping out my phone. I need that email because I need to know where you're shipping it to because last time you lost it. So I'm trying to get, a little bit of other people get things online, all the time.
Right. Right.
I should be able to do this. Anyway, but back to Bigfoot.
No,
Um,
I just think it's interesting and I think you
it's
know.
more. I mean, honestly, that to me that seems more like we have evidence of big apes
Mm-hmm.
that actually existed on this planet. There's evidence that is like it's not that far-fetched to go. Some of these might be living in you know, isolation, obscure locations or whatever,
Right.
and everyone, they don't have an explosive population. They would be beyond endangered at this, if you're talking numbers. Um, but it's it it's not outside of the realm of possibility.
Right.
We have evidence to say these things did exist. whatever Apopus gigantus or whatever it was called. Like I know
Yeah.
that's wrong, but
No, you got something right.
but it's with aliens, like we don't have a skeleton of an alien. I mean, we they say we do, but no one wants to crack open the sarcophagus. One of the biggest ridiculous dumb stories I've ever like. Oh, that guy was an alien. That's in his skeleton's in that box right there. All right, well let's crack it open and check it out. No,
No.
we can't do that. Sorry, that doesn't work. It's why not? Why? Because of rules that we made for ourselves. I like. We want to know, but we don't. But that's the thing. They don't actually believe that as much as they want to tell themselves that they do, because if they did, they would. Whoever's saying no, you can't open that box, doesn't believe what they say they believe. If they're the people going, it's not an alien, and that's just it was just a really tall, somebody with gigantism that became a pharaoh or whatever. Like
Yeah.
that's they don't actually believe that 100% because if they're the ones that's in charge of saying open the box and check, like there's a part of them that goes, I might be wrong about this, so I'm just going to say no and hold on to my beliefs.
Ultimately, there's a reason why a lot of this is poo-pooed, and I think it's poo-pooed for the reason that
Can you give it to Watson one time?
don't tell me what happened. Don't tell me what happened. You're behind. You're ahead of me. I'm assuming somebody scored, and I hope it's so. So can I give you a play-by-play? This is what I would do if I was a sports broadcaster. Okay, I want you to close your eyes and imagine that you're blind.
That I didn't just see the last
You
play.
didn't see what play. All right, they're lining up the format. He's in the shotgun. He hikes the ball. He gives it to A.J. Dillon once again, and he moves it on into the end zone. Touchdown, Green Bay Packers. To tie the game, potentially a kickoff away, or one extra point from tying the game. A.J. Dillon, 5-yard rushing touchdown. Hasn't seen a touchdown this fucking season and finally stumbles his jolly ass into the end zone when we need Christian Watson to win us in Fantasy League. What a pile of shit. We are celebrating and at the same time mourning our loss and potential win. How's that?
Well, see, and then I'd come in with the color commentary, and I'd go, certainly wouldn't want to have Watson on my team this week. Back to you, Drew.
I thought you were going to say, like, you're going to come in with the color commentary and say purple.
Oh, never. This is green and gold.
Get it?
You don't, yeah.
You just say colors.
I get it, but we can't go with purple. It's the Vikings, man.
Did he fucking? Oh my God! He almost.
We've
been
completely derailed here by the Packers game here.
Ultimately,
if anybody made it this far, I mean, it's like
come on now, this was compelling.
I think it was. I just think it's funny that it's like here we are now. For we have a brief moment of hope. It's we believe in our fantasy league teams and our football team like we believe in Bigfoot. Like Super Bowls can happen sometimes. There's some evidence that we've done it. It's been there.
Yeah, exactly. Overall, this is just I think if you were to describe this episode with one word, it would be hopeful. We're hopeful that the aliens are real.
We're very hopeful.
We're hopeful that the Green Bay Packers can beat the Raiders, if only because of my hatred for Jimmy Garoppolo. I hate that man.
You're not gonna like this. I'm a Jimmy G fan.
What?
I like Jimmy G. I thought they dogged him at the 49ers.
He deserved it. He's a piece of shit.
I mean, I don't like him when he's playing us. I don't like the fact that we can't seem to beat him. I don't understand that. But I don't know what it is about him.
They won the NFC Championship, right? In Lambeau Field, during a snowstorm. They're from California, playing at home, playing away at the team that's like, we don't give a shit if it's cold, and
the frozen tundra,
and they won. They beat the Packers, and what does Jimmy G say? He says, "Fuck the Packers." Fuck.
Did he say that?
Yes. That's what he said.
Okay,
fuck the Packers. Yeah, fuck that guy.
Are you making this up so I'll
No.
hate him? Because that was exactly what you need to say to make that
I'm not
happen.
making that up. That's factual. He said that.
I mean, I hated Russell Wilson for a decade because he just didn't come out and say, yeah, that was a interception or that was a catch. I don't even remember I just remember it was the Seahawks that threw up the.
It was intercepted and they counted it as a touchdown.
Yeah, and it's like I was okay with them winning the game, but I wanted Russell Wilson to just come out and say, "Hey, the refs got it wrong, but we got the win." Sometimes that's how it goes. Didn't do that. I hated him for over a decade.
No, I hate Jimmy Garoppolo.
If
he really said that,
I'm gonna go look at the I'm gonna go find the tape because that's enough. That's enough for me to go. All right, I'm not on your side anymore.
Yeah.
All right.
I hope he fucking tears his ACL.
That's a little.
All right. I hope he prolapses his asshole.
Yeah, I hope he poops his pants.
The next time he's doing squats in the weight room, he gets that prolapsed anus. I hope he gets that. Okay. Could you imagine that? Like you're checking your fantasy team, you got Jimmy G starting, and it's just, he's out with a prolapsed anus.
Questionable at first
because of his ass. All right. Anyways, well, we'll leave your choice up to interpretation. Rob and I want to believe that all this is factual, that all this is happening. I'd like some validity eventually from the world. I drank Brewery Ommegang's All Hallows Treat Imperial Chocolate Peanut Butter Stout. Not enough peanut butter in this beverage. Not enough peanut butter taste to it. Unfortunately, it could have been because it's too cold. Stouts, you kind of gotta like monitor the temperature a little bit. It's been sitting in my fridge, but it still does not live up to the lupulin. Tasting nonetheless, a hint of peanut butter. I would have liked a little bit more, in my opinion. I would try this at a different temperature if given the opportunity. How was yours?
I mean, this isn't bad. And maybe I'm a little weird with Helles lagers. I'm not I'm not sure enough about how they're supposed to taste, and maybe it's just this is the wrong type of beer for me. I would drink this again, but I'm not like I'm gonna say I would not order this at a bar. I would probably stay away from it. But I can't really place why it got better over time. But
okay.
That's not the beer I want. I want a beer that's good from the first sip.
Damn right.
So it's like I think that's this is it's like it's good right now, but I think like to me I go that's because your taste buds have warmed up to it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have to go through that. I want a beer
that
is refreshing from the first.
That's
sip.
like going on a first date and saying, eh. But then you like hang out with them a little bit more, and then you go, yeah. Over time, I got accustomed to it. I got acclimated to it. No, you want to fall in love on that first date. You want to lock eyes and be like, "Oh, baby, we're gonna spend the rest of our lives together."
Yeah. Speaking of first dates, I should tell you.
You fucker.
Pew pew audio. Goodbye, everyone.